A very good evening to you once again and welcome to Rwanda Television News. My name is Sam Kalisa. The Rwanda Investigation Bureau RIB has warned conmen that when caught, the penalties are heavy and urged the general public to be vigilant because there are people getting caught selling property that does not belong to them, even going as far as forging documents. Serge Ntore has more on this.
Godfrey Kayumba's plot in Chimirongo sector worth 25 million Rwandan francs was almost sold by a conniving couple who had forged documents in his name. However, the man interested in buying the land asked to speak to the owner, and not recognizing the voice of the person on the other end of the line, because he knew what Godfrey sounds like, realized something was wrong and told the real owner that someone was trying to sell his plot. They had claimed that I am usually unavailable, and when he realized that the voice on the phone is not mine, he was certain that it was an imposter, and he called me directly to inform me of what was happening. I then told him to bring those people to the MTN center with the documents they claimed were the land deed. However, they turned up without the forgeries, and I told him to urge them to bring the papers the next day and promise them that he would show up with the money. So the next time they did come with the fake papers and fake IDs, and we met up with them at Bourbon Coffee. And after they had gone through with a deal, we called local security personnel to help us restrain them, and then called RIB, the Rwanda Investigation Bureau. The woman involved denies everything, while the man she was with says she masterminded the whole thing. The Rwanda Investigation Bureau has warned conmen that when caught, the penalties are heavy, and urged the general public to be vigilant because there are people getting caught selling property that does not belong to them, even going as far as forging documents. Though the number of cases have not yet become very many, they are increasing, with people trying to take advantage of the technology available nowadays to forge documents, fooling those who are not careful and trying to take their money. Anyone trying to forge documents and claim property that is not theirs will be caught eventually. The will and resources are available to get it done, plus the collaboration of local residents. We are also calling on the general public to be careful when trying to buy fixed assets. People should be absolutely certain they are doing business with the real owners of the property. Conmen caught engaged in such illegal activities face jail time of between 5 and 7 years and fines of between 3 and 5 million Rwandan francs.
The service sector has continued to get low marks during different surveys and research activities carried out, and experts have noted that applying the Rwandan cultural values when receiving and assisting clients can help change this. Serge Ntore continues.
Rwanda, being a landlocked country with limited natural resources, has decided to exploit its service sector to help its economy to grow. After all, it does account for close to 50% of the gross domestic product or the country's GDP. Efforts like the Nayombi or Open Arms campaign to improve service delivery have therefore been undertaken with some positive results. Before, you would go to an office and find the official absent. Now at least they post up their number when they are absent, and even an announcement explaining why they are not there. Service delivery is generally good, but that does not apply to all of them. Some do it well, but others don't. Some of them drag themselves around, not hurrying up. The 2019 Rwanda Governance Scorecard gave the service sector just 70.4%, down from 74.25% in the preceding year. The service delivery in the financial sector is the worst, with 62%, social welfare at 68%, the private sector at 71%, and governance at 79%. The most recent Citizen Report card showed that close to 30% of people criticized service delivery in the private sector, with 63% happy with it. Experts say the country is losing money because of bad service delivery. Millions of dollars actually, which is why people need to turn a new leaf and proper training provided for employees. What is even more surprising is the fact that Rwanda's culture promotes good service delivery and the welcoming of guests with open arms, which is why cultural experts too are urging people, especially the business community, to treat guests well. The country's leader has also criticized poor service delivery. It is a case of bad behavior, that is all. You approach a person seeking a service and they are on the phone, ignoring you completely and seemingly oblivious of your presence. Even when they notice you, they act irritated and are impolite as if it is your fault. That is not a problem of limited resources or insufficient knowledge. It's just bad behavior. And then, of course, there is that excuse you all like to give, that you must stop, by the way, when you delay things because you have been doing nothing. You then claim the process requires caution. Does being careful mean you just sit back and fold your arms? Being careful does not mean you do nothing. Neither does it mean that you make little progress forward in all you do. No.
The
service sector accounts for almost 48% of the country's GDP, agriculture 33%, while the industrial sector holds 17%.
Thank you very much, Serge, for that report. Now, local residents that live near a leather manufacturing factory in Bugesera district have been complaining about the smoke and the bad smell that comes out of the factory. Bugesera district officials, however, have said that there are no plans to relocate the factory. Ghislaine Mugwaneza has more.
The residents that live near the leather processing factory in Bugesera district have said that the smoke and bad smell from this factory negatively affect them, and they are asking the officials in charge to solve this problem as soon as possible. Sometimes those smokes from the factory have got bad smells, and sometimes they open something that is like a fridge that brings out bad smell. We can't do anything about this. We have accepted this.
The
government can do something about it and relocate the factory in Gahanga, where the other factories are located.
The vice chairman in charge of finance and public relations at Kigali Leather Limited, Zhang Feifei, has said that the smoke is caused by burning firewood and bad smells comes from leathers. He has said that they are finding solutions.
If there is a skin or meat in our house, after several days, it's very easy damage, and then you will smell very bad. Process of cow hides, the leather, we need hot water. So this is similar like when in our village we don't have gas. We use wood to cook food. That smoke is same. We purchased chemical medicine to control the smell.
Bugesera District Mayor Richard Mutabazi have said that they are doing follow-up, for it is not the first time doing the same mistake.
There are several times that factory had bad smells that negatively affected the citizens. When it happens like that, it means that there is something wrong in the factory. We are doing a follow-up. So far, there is an industrial special economic zone in each district, and Bugesera district officials have said that there is no plans to relocate this factory because of the fact that relocation requires financial support. Healthcare workers in charge of people with various disabilities say that there is a need for specialized vocational schools for people with disabilities in order to help them cope with various challenges they face in the workplace. This comes after people with disabilities pointed toward a variety of hindrances in their education as well as discrimination in the workplace. Rwanda Rehabilitation Center for People with Disabilities, HVP Gatagara, has already been instrumental in caring for people with various disabilities. Officials at the center believe that so far it has continued to play an active role in teaching basic courses to people with disabilities as well as providing them with basic medical care. However, they believe that vocational training is needed for people with disabilities in order to help them create their own jobs, as Brother Kizito Mihigo, the director of HVP Gatagara, explains. Vocational schools for children with disabilities can really help them get jobs. So this is what we're doing together with the Ministry of Education to see if in the future this school can be established to be especially helpful for children with mental disabilities. From 2017 to the present, close observers of the problems of people with various disabilities have shown that the illness have reduced with time, which helped in changing the perception of the Rwandan society. Lilian Akadata, officer in charge of people with disabilities at the United Nations Development Programme UNDP, points out that isolation remains a challenge for people with disabilities.
Imbogamizi ya mbere iba muri recruitment process.
The first obstacle comes in the recruitment process. For a person with a disability to get to the place where the test took place is a big problem. The other problem is the mindset of some who see a person with a disability and feel that they will not be able to work with them, at the time resulting in poor performance, not because they are incapable, but because of the feeling of others who feel that they will not be able to work with a person with a disability. The United Nations, in collaboration with its partners, have raised about 20 million Rwandan francs and smart boards that will help children with disabilities to improve their skills in technology. EU Ambassador to Rwanda, Nicola Belomo, says the organization will continue to work with the government of Rwanda to improve the lives of the underprivileged without leaving behind people with disabilities.
As we always say, disability is not inability. And as European Union, we will spare no efforts in promoting and advancing the rights of the people with disabilities, and I sincerely hope that in the future we can do even more. I mean, especially in this COVID period, as European Union, we've been extremely active in supporting the rights of the people with disabilities with specific dedicated projects. But I hope that in the future we can do more.
The United Nations Development Programme UNDP estimates that poorest people in the world are the people with disabilities, indicating that this category has been hit hard by the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic compared to the rest of the world. The agency calls on people to take care of this category in order to reduce discrimination against them. Soldiers, police and 28 civilians from 6 African countries have started a week-long workshop on how to combat gender-based violence while they are engaged in peacekeeping operations all around the world. The workshop is being held at the Rwanda Peace Academy in Musanze district. We have more. The problem mostly affects women and children. This is retired Colonel Gilles Rutaremara, director of the Rwanda Peace Academy, explaining the purpose of training people about the prevention and fight against gender-based violence while they are engaged in peacekeeping operations around the world. Understanding the problem better is knowing how it happens. It's not only sexual harassment. Even when children get separated from their families, it's gender-based violence. So when peacekeepers are well trained, they can easily prevent it. Some of the participants say that it was very important because they will be able to exchange views on what is happening in their countries, which will enable them to gain knowledge that will help them to fight gender-based violence while they are on peacekeeping missions in different parts of the world. Gender-based violence is everywhere. Thus, we believe that training, with the help of exchanging ideas with our fellows from different countries, will help us fight the crime. I can say that gender-based violence has become an epidemic, and the fact that many countries are here will share the experience.
It's very, very important that we get to know the intricacies that are involved in sexual and gender-based violence, because these are things that actually affect the troops being deployed there, the persons that we go to safeguard, especially those who have faced the scourge of war and are still going through it, because it becomes very difficult for them to take care of some of these things because the focus is on peace. Why I think it's very, very important to have forums such as this so that we can be able to deliberate on some of these things, getting also various myriad experiences from the different nationalities. I think that is a very good thing that we should be having in this school.
The training was organized by the Rwanda Peace Academy in collaboration with the government of Japan and the United Nations Development Programme UNDP. The workshop features Comoros, Ethiopia, Kenya, Somalia, Sudan and Rwanda, which together established the East African Standby Force.